This was a time when cell phones were really only on TV. It was late in the evening on May 14, 1988. Dispatcher James Offit was working at KSP Post 2 Madisonville alone. It was a couple of hours from the end of his shift on an uneventful night. The phone started ringing all the lines at once. He answered them one after the other, all hurried callers asking about a bus crash. He had no information related to a bus crash, no other reports. He checked with small agencies, the local police departments, no reports of any bus crashes. The parkways were clear in his district, both directions. He asked one of the frantic callers for her phone number so he could check with his sergeant to see if the sergeant had any information. The phone number wasn't familiar to him, and he asked her where she was at. She was 4 counties away. The state police posts were designed so that if a caller called in, they never didn't get an answer. If the lines were busy at one post, they would roll over to the next post and the next post and so on. The phones rang for quite some time, and all the questions were the same. Is my child okay? Is it true? Was there a bus crash? The Assembly of God Church Youth Group traveled to Kings Island that day. All the kids who were part of the church youth group got to invite a friend along on the trip. 67 people were on the bus, including the driver, and at the time of the crash, they were headed home on I-71 near Carrollton, Kentucky, an hour and a half from their destination, their home in Radcliffe, Kentucky. A 1987 Toyota pickup truck traveling north in the southbound lane hit the bus head-on. Following the impact, there were only minor injuries. The front door was blocked. There were no roof patches on the bus. The bus was built in 1977. Before the passengers could exit through the rear door of the bus, a chassis that had broken during the collision punctured the fuel tank and caught fire. The investigation by the National Transportation and Safety Board would determine that in less than 4 minutes, the bus was engulfed in flames. After that, no other passengers would be assisted by passersby who ran to their aid and helped them escape through the back door. 27 people were still inside, 24 of them children. The driver of that Toyota pickup truck had been at a local bar drinking that evening and had no recollection of the accident the next day. His blood alcohol content 2 hours after the accident was 0.24. That would now be what's 3 times the legal limit. He was charged with and found guilty of 27 counts of manslaughter in the 2nd degree. He served 9.5 years of a 16-year prison sentence. Following the crash, state laws were changed to address drunk driving and bus safety regulation, increasing sobriety checkpoints, requiring exterior strobe lights on buses, and cages around fuel tanks. The collision, which remains the 3rd deadliest bus crash in U.S. history, led to increased participation nationally in MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, of which the mother of a 10-year-old victim of the Carrollton Bus Crash would become president. Their work is credited with a reduction in the number of alcohol-related fatalities. Today there stands a black marble monument in Radcliffe listing the names of the passengers, and in Kentucky on Interstate 71 there's a sign marking the site of the crash.